Now, one of the things that I did notice was that when I was doing all of this, right, I wanted to obviously, change the camera perspective and see how cool it would look when you're moving around. So what I'm going to show you right now is I'm going to show you how I'm going to change between cameras, between the first person camera and the third person camera. And you're going to see a problem that I detected, um, and why I had to actually implement a kind of interpolation for the camera movement. Just let me make sure. So when I press the button X, I'm going to go to first person camera. And when I press the button B, third person. All right. So I'm going to run this again. And I'm going to change the camera that I'm using. All right, so you see that. So I'm gonna press B, and that now I'm actually using my third person camera. All right. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna actually change to first person camera, and you're gonna see a problem with this, right? So now if I want to go up the hill, you're gonna see how the the motion of the camera is not smooth enough. Let me bring it back. You see that? It's a little bit like I don't even know how to describe that, but very primitive movement, right? So you may think, how can I say this? The fix is actually very simple, right? And at first I thought that if I just use interpolation, everything would be fixed. Um, the problem with that is that if there is a huge change between the direction of the camera, the interpolation doesn't really do much. It doesn't really help at all. All right. So what I found out, and let me bring this up because I will want to read this for you. That instead of using interpolation, you should use something called the recency weighted average. And basically, the whole equation is this, or formula is this. Um, you have your recency weighted average, and you provide a bias, right? Um, and you multiply that bias times your weighted average, and then you add that to 1 minus bias times the new value, right? So in this case, my new value would be my view direction of the camera. And what happens is that when you use this recency weighted average, what it does is this: it keeps an average of the last few values, with more recent values being more significant. The bias parameter controls how much significance is given to the previous value. A bias of 0 makes the weighted average equal to the new value each time it is updated. That is, no average at all. And a bias of 1 ignores the new values altogether. All right. So what you need to find is you need to find the perfect point that will make the whole that will take the average of the previous values that you want and the new ones and the new value that you want. You need to find the perfect I'll say like intersection point, right? In this case, for the my first person camera, I found it to be 0.98. All right. So when I added this, what happens is that I'm gonna, all right, motion accumulator, right? I'm gonna build this, and then I'm gonna go back to the camera, so you see how that changed. Basically, this is my recency weighted average. I have an accumulator. Basically, I have the accumulator, and then the accumulator, I multiply it times my bias, then I add the new value, which is my view direction of the camera, times 1 minus my bias, and that will give me a weighted average for the camera movement. All right, so let me go back, and I'm gonna run this again. Alright, so now it's building. And I'm gonna change it to my Mac. Can you see my Mac? Oh, there you go. All right. Let me go back. This is first person, third person camera. Let me just get closer to here. Okay, so now I'm gonna change this to my first person camera. All right. So now you're gonna see that when I go up the hill, the whole movement of the camera is a lot smoother. You see that? Let me do that again. So it doesn't do the whole jump as it was doing before, and that's what I wanted to fix. Although there's a little bit of problem there, but let me go here. Oh, there's a tree right there. Let me go up that hill right there. Now when I go up to that one, everything is a lot smoother. You see? Let me go to this hill right here so you can actually see that. You see? And I can come back. And I think the problem that you think the flickering that you see here when you go up is that I have the camera way too close to the mountain, so that's why you see that. Actually, let me see if I can go back a little bit back. Third person camera. Let's see if I bring it to 4, would that help? All right, everything's built in. I hope that me bringing it down backwards to 0.4 actually is not going to hide the whole. All right, so X. All right, let's see. Let's do this one more time. I'm going up the hill. And there you go. Still see the flickering, but I think it's the camera just being too close. I have to double check on that, but regardless, you can see actually how the camera now, the whole motion is more smoother and everything. But I will make a note of that. I wonder if the problem is with my character being way too close to this. Let me bring this down a little bit. That may be the problem actually. I'm sorry, I have to double check that I don't have any further issues with this. So. All right, let's build this again. And all right, so change it to X, to first person camera, and let's do this again. Hopefully I don't get that blackage. I still see the blackage. I wonder why. All right, yep, I'm blocking the camera with my movement. That is weird. Alright, I will have to fix that, but the whole point is that now that I'm able to go up, oh, you know, the fact that I actually move my camera to 0.4 actually is affecting it. Let me go back to 0.5. Let me build that again. I will double check on that. I did a test with other terrains and it worked fine. Um, so I hope it's not something. I hope it's the geometry of the terrain that is causing that issue. And if not, well, I will have to fix it. Okay, boom, 0.4, my camera. Let's do this again. All right. Let me go up this hill. Yeah, I have to figure out what's going on. Let me see